I think every female should know her balance of adrenal androgen production to ovarian androgen production. So you can test things called keto androgens, which cost like $200 wholesale, so probably $2,000 if you have your PCP order it. But a better estimate is just getting a DHEA sulfate. DHEA sulfate is about 80% produced by the adrenals. So if your DHEA-S is very high, then you're probably mostly adrenally dominant. The average female gets about 50% of testosterone from the adrenals and 50% from ovaries. Well, actually, 50% of testosterone is produced in the ovaries, 25% is produced in ovary, 25% is produced in adrenal, 25% is peripherally converted via aromatase, or via androstenedione, and then 25% is peripherally converted from DHEA-S. So still it's 50-50. But a lot is due to peripheral conversion. And then if there's high aromatization, then more can convert to estrogen. But a lot of females have what's called a lot of females have adrenal androgen dominance. And that's due to high insulin metabolic syndrome. So again, it's chicken or the egg. If someone has insulin resistance and PCOS, are they naturally a high adrenal androgen producer, like someone that has non-classical congenital adrenal hyperplasia, or a zona reticularis hyperproducing tumor or region, hyperplasia, perhaps, but also maybe it's just all that insulin and IGF-1, and that's leading to more adrenal androgen production. Whereas some females, and there's actually a lot of Olympic athletes that have this, have what's called hyperthecosis. So that theca cell in the ovary produces a lot of testosterone, and that can be 80% of the androgen production. After menopause, the ovary usually produces a little bit less testosterone, no estrogen and no progesterone, but it usually does produce a little bit of testosterone depending on the female for about 5 to 10 years. Whereas the adrenals, it's more of a slow drop off. So kind of think of your life as a curve. It starts with, it starts in utero, where you're basically going through puberty. Then your first 3 months of life, you're still going through puberty. Ovaries and testes are very active first 3 months of life. Your second puberty is adrenarche in both males and females. It's usually around 9 or 10. And people who have more active adrenals, maybe they have, a couple hairs start. They have, acne sometimes, but adrenarche is highly variable. Some people don't have very active adrenals and some people do. And then you have gonadarche. So either menarche in females, first period, that's your classic puberty, but it's really your fourth puberty that you've gone through. And then you have menopause and andropause, but you also have adrenopause. So really, most people that get diagnosed with adrenal fatigue, if they're in an advanced age, it's because they've had an earlier adrenopause. And in general, you can predict how hard menopause will be based on their pre-menopause or perimenopause DHEA sulfate level.
Very interesting. And so what would you say test for what again?
DHEA sulfate.
Okay. For men and women?
Yes, but especially for women.
Okay. Yep. And what will that test yield?
Let's say you take 3 40-year-old females. One has a DHEA sulfate of 900. She's probably androgen dominant, probably has low SHBG, might have symptoms of virilization, which is masculinization, but might have a relatively easy menopause. Many females don't feel a lot of symptoms because that can convert to testosterone and estrogen. In fact, DHEA is the sole source of estradiol, which is your strongest estrogen after menopause. Dr. Fernand Labrie showed that. But let's take another one that has a DHEA more normal of 150 or 200. And she'd probably be in between. And then take another one that has a DHEA sulfate of 50. In that case, there's probably going to be severe vasomotor symptoms like heart racing, waking up at night, sweating, anxiousness, and then also more severe, what's now called genitourinary syndrome of menopause. And they might feel the exact same at age 40, but knowing what to expect can inform them quite a bit about what decision to make. Because
So
some people will say, all females need HRT, but from a benefit standpoint, that can give them a good idea.
Interesting. So you're saying like as a way to mitigate the discomfort that many women feel during menopause, you can get a sort of...
I would make a case that if you're in that third group with very low DHEA and high SHBG, even 10 years before menopause, see where your symptoms are, see what other health predispositions you have, and consider starting things like DHEA or even testosterone before menopause happens. That's often, there's a lot of females that are in that category.
Now, is this the kind of thing that you bring up to your gynecologist? Do you have to see an endocrinologist?
I would be interested to see what an endocrinologist would say. Yeah. They, unfortunately, that's a health disparity and a bit of a healthcare desert. A lot of healthcare providers are not willing to talk about this. In general, females are good at advocating for their own health. I think that's actually a problem in men's health, is they don't seek out care early enough. But one of the issues is that there's not enough. So a lot of times it's just people being their own personal advocate and then seeking out someone who is willing to prescribe. And then they kind of have to go through the risk benefit analysis themselves.
Hey, if you liked that video, you need to check out this one here, and I'll see you there.